Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Blasters Ready. This episode, we had Carlos with InkOne, or you just call him InkOne. Awesome podcast. Went great. The mic kind of has a few issues, but again, just some technical stuff. No issues, or no problem with the communication. Awesome podcast. We pretty much just, went over his path, I guess to say, like where he started, how he got to where he is, and everything in between. And yeah, it's an hour and a half, so check it out. Carlos is coming right up. Thanks, guys. Hey, what's going on, Carlos? How you doing today?
How you doing, Josh?
Doing pretty good. I appreciate you coming on. Yeah, it was pretty nice. It got some relaxing, but not much.
Right. Thank you for having me, man. It's the first time doing this, and I'm excited.
Yeah, no problem at all, man. It's an experiment, but we'll definitely get things going.
For sure.
So, pretty much like if anyone didn't see the first episode, this is all about just kind of getting behind the scenes with like certain artists and stuff. So, we'll just kind of start by like, I guess where'd you come from? How'd you get into all this first?
I think mostly how everybody starts. They drew as a kid. I don't know about you, but I was always drawing as a kid.
Yeah.
Grew up in New York, moved to Florida when I was like 10. Left that cold ass weather for the warm weather Florida. I didn't start till high school, maybe. They had one of those art magnet programs.
Yeah.
People had magnet programs and just did it there. I mean, it started there as a fine arts thing. I was always painting with acrylics and drawing. Did the old AP classes and everything, and then it was like, all right, I guess I gotta go to art school now. And in the 90s, 2000, there's really only one art school here, and it was Art Institute.
Yeah.
And signed up for the Art Institute. 2000. I wasn't even going to go to school, honestly. I was just, I was content working a regular 9-to-5 job, and my pops was like, "You got to take your ass to school." I'm like, "Damn, all right." So then I signed up, and literally like that summer, started school, and then at the AI in Miami, and that's everything took off. Man, I had a 3D background. I did animation. I remember even the administrator there, or what's her name? What do they call them? The people that recruit people. I was like, hey, I want to learn graphic design. I thought graphic. She's like, no, you don't want to learn graphic design. You want to learn animation. I'm like, okay, I guess I do want to learn animation. So I did the animation program. I met everybody I knew then. I mean, they're still friends now. And the whole InkOne thing didn't start till like 2007, and that's when I was doing my master's in graphic. I went back and did my master's in graphic design because animation was cool and everything. Yeah, animation was cool and everything, but I was always the 2D guy. I loved the whole graphics thing. I loved doing the like magazine layouts and logos. That was my thing. So I went and did my master's. Did my master's 2007. And I had to have, a thesis or something. And I was like, you know what? I mean, that's when the persona of InkOne came out.
Oh, nice.
I'm InkOne there. You know what? It started as Digital Crayon, and then Digital Crayon still needed who's going to be Digital Crayon. I was like, InkOne. It's out of nowhere. It's InkOne. And I kept that was my thesis, and it worked, and everybody dug it. And I kept going by InkOne. Everything I did was labeled InkOne after that.
Oh, awesome.
So this is about 2007 till now. So what was that? 13 years have been InkOne.
That's a good while, man.
Yeah, like I'm old. I'm not a young kid. How old are you, by the way?
31. I have to think about it sometimes.
I'm about to be 38.
Yeah, you said 07s when you got your master's. Yeah. That's when I graduated high school.
There you go. There you go.
It's interesting because like we are almost complete opposite when it comes to the college stuff. Like, so I signed up for Art Institute after doing like, I think like 1 or 2 semesters of like an online Westwood College thing.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I could not stand it. Like I couldn't stand the whole thing of like, okay, this is what we're learning this week. I wanted just to do whatever and learn at my own pace type thing. So like I got in there and I just couldn't do it. So I got out and I was like, all right, maybe I'll give this another try. So my buddy was going to Art Institute. So I signed up. I literally signed up, got accepted, and then didn't start. Like, I was just like, I'm
You
not
didn't
doing
go.
this.
Like, I'm not
Yeah.
going. I'm not going.
Even though I actually ended up, I still have to like pay that money back and
Oh yeah.
everything.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, like I love college of like, what you can get out of it. But like for some reason it just wasn't like my style of learning of like, going. So it's interesting to
Right.
hear like someone that's, I mean, we are fairly common when we like on our kind of like art that we do and our interests. So like, to hear like you have a master's and like you went the whole time and loved
Oh
it.
yeah.
That's
Oh no.
awesome.
I loved. Well, my initial when I got my bachelor's, I felt the same way. Like I didn't get everything I could have gotten. Like I learned a lot. Don't get me wrong. I
Yeah,
learned a lot. But I think if I would have done the two things, if I would have done a graphic design program, I would not have met the people I've met,
true.
and I would not have still be friends. I would not be friends with them now. Animation program, I think it just introduced you to a bunch of dope people. Really good program. A lot of the teachers are really cool. But I think that you're right. It left me wanting more. The way, especially the way it was, the style it was taught.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't really focused on one thing. It was like it almost felt kind of like an advanced level of high school.
Okay.
Classes where you're still same. When you take your bachelor's, and especially in a college like that, you still have to do your English. You still have to do your science or psychology, and you still have to do your math stuff. So it's like I wanted more of a tailored thing, and that's not, you definitely are gonna get that in a bachelor program. But
Yeah.
when I did my master's, they were like, I told them, listen, I don't want to do these prereq classes, and no, you have full control of what you take. You just have
Oh,
to make sure you have this amount of credits. I'm like, all right, perfect, and that's exactly what it was. Like honestly, doing my master's, I didn't learn anything. I just did what I wanted to do, and if I had questions, I would ask the professionals because they were the professionals, right?
yeah.
And that's the way they treated it. That was a pretty dope experience. When doing my master's was way better than I learned more doing my master's because I think it allowed me to focus on what I wanted to do.
Yeah. No, I mean that sounds
Right.
a lot better that way. Like
Uh,
I haven't actually talked to anyone that's finished, completely finished college for graphic design or any type of art thing, to be
right.
honest. So it's good to hear a point of view that's good like that. Like, because I know some people still want to, to go after that, and
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
it's not a
Absolutely.
bad thing.
It's not a bad thing at all. Like I have nephews right now. Actually, one nephew is actually doing the whole. He wants to do the whole art college thing, and he's really good. But I'm trying to convince him like it's cool going to college. It's an experience that you want to get, but like the stuff I learned in school, you can learn off YouTube so
Yeah,
much easier,
for
and it
sure.
costs you way less. But he wants the whole experience, and it's cool. And he's really good. He'll do it.
Yeah, I think that's
But
what it's about. It's the experience and, like you said, the connections.
the
Because I
connect,
mean,
yeah, connect 100% of connections. Like I have, like I told one of my best friends. I'm godfather to his kid.
yeah,
A lot of a good majority of my college friends, I'm still friends with. Like we keep in contact. So
yeah,
it's
and that's awesome.
definitely yeah. Like college, I mean, high school friends, I know a couple. But the
Yeah,
college friends, they literally, it's such a cliche, but you literally, they're friends for life.
well, I mean, that
College
kind of
friends.
makes sense because, like, once you're in college, between, like, I feel like you hit 25 to 30, you really
Oh
kind
yeah.
of figure out who you are.
Yep.
So, like, that's that prime age of, like, if you're in school, obviously, that's the people you're going to stick with because,
Right.
like, they know you
Hmm.
and stuff. So, yeah, because I have a few friends from high school, but I will say, even over the past few years, like, each year kind of dwindles less and less of how much we
Oh
talk
no,
because
absolutely.
we've all kind of changed. So, but yeah, no, that's awesome. That's a really great story. Like, and it's inspirational to others that want to do that. So that,
Yeah, the college route is dope. I'm telling you straight up. The college route is really cool. If you want to do it, it's an experience that you will remember. Um, but I don't know. It's just the that whole connection that you make with people in college is way stronger than your high school
yeah,
friends, whatever. And I think that's what's. I think honestly, the friends that I made from that, like we're pretty tight knit group. I think that drove a lot of what we each do. I think we each pushed each other in different directions. Like I
yeah,
should do this, I do that, but everybody, it was always like a cool. tight group that we always, kept in contact. We're always critiquing our shit. We're like, oh, we tell them, no, that sucks, bro. Move on. Do something else.
No,
Go
that's
do
great.
another thing. And that's those are the friends I have now, and I think those are the ones that really driven my stuff
Yeah.
to where I'm at now.
No, I mean, like as an artist, like you have to have those people around. Like,
Oh yeah, you
I
can't
mean,
have those people. You can't have those people who just don't tell you the truth on stuff. And I've seen a lot of it. I see a lot of it. They're like,
yeah,
nobody looked at that you want to, like you didn't ask anybody before
yeah,
you put that
yeah.
out. Like I mean, it's cool. I mean, I tell you, again, I'm not knocking the whole college experience. It's really dope. I got what I wanted out of it.
Well, I mean, like while we're on the college thing, like I guess also, like, we don't have to obviously get into numbers and stuff, but financially, so
no, financially it was it's a huge,
you think it's worth it though, like financially?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
No, absolutely not worth it. No, they charge me an arm and a leg for something that it's, mind you, when you go to art school, it's a private college.
Yeah, for sure.
It's going to be expensive. But,
no, and I can vouch for that. And with only the little bit of time that I went.
Yeah, and I went the full 4 for bachelor's, and I did my year and a half in master's. I think in between, I even tried to do a master's in animation, but that year was gone and wasted, and that's money I still owe.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm hoping in the future. Like they'll try to figure out the school system better, because it is.
Bro, and now the same program now is like almost over $100K, man.
Yeah, it's insane.
Well, I think when I did it was like 60.
Yeah,
and now it's like easily over 100.
It is absolutely
Makes
insane.
No sense.
Like I mean, you should not have to have put. That's like 3 years of 3 or 4 years of people's entire income.
Yeah,
it's like insane. So
and then the people who took out the crazy amount of loans to do it is like it has to suck. Like if you got a good job now, then perfect, awesome for you. But
yeah,
it has to suck. That first year, I remember coming out, I was like, you get those. For me, it was Nelnet.
That's
Sally Mae that was one of the ones before Sally Mae and all that. Man, they send you that email. It's like, you got 6 months to get a job.
Yep.
And back.
I was on Sally Mae, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
You got 6 months to pay us back. Get a job.
Yeah, I won't even lie. Like I said, I still owe money.
Yeah, me too. I'm still paying them back.
So, but I mean, like, even with that, like you said, you enjoyed it, and to you, it's an experience you would not take back. So, like,
oh yeah, I wouldn't trade it. Yeah, I would gladly do it again. Especially once I get the people you meet, man. It's just it's more worth it, the actual experience.
No, I mean, I kind of almost relate it. This is gonna sound weird, but it's just kind of an analogy. Like, you have a rough childhood. It gets you to a point where you can really you can take care of yourself and do all these things. And most of those people that succeed out of that, they'll tell you straight up, I would never take back any of that stuff that happened, because that's what made me who I am. So I mean, it's kind of the same thing, and everything. But yeah, I mean, so we'll kind of move on from the college stuff. On the InkOne. So I mean, that came spur of the moment.
That was me again. It goes back to college. It's all started in college. While doing my master's, they you have to do a thesis, and everybody was doing one of those fake campaign for a product type thing.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I always hated the fact of working for somebody else.
The commercialism type thing.
I was like, I don't want to work for anybody. I'm learning all this stuff so I could do it on my own. So we had to come up with a thesis, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna promote myself, and that's exactly what I did. I did a whole campaign about promoting InkOne. So I was the subject of everything.
I would do the exact same thing if I had to.
So I made the whole. I mean, I came up with the logo. I did with my whole thesis was, because you have to present your portfolio. My whole thesis was a binded book.
Okay.
I found where to get all my art, printed and published and put into a hardcover book, and included that was a website I made in Flash, and the campaign of I made stickers, and it's just when there was really no sticker mule around, so it was just square stickers and
I've been there.
business cards, and you have to do that, just present yourself, and they ate it up. They loved it. I was like, nobody else did their portfolio. Everybody else's portfolio, when they showed it, was in that black binder.
Mm-hmm.
Remember those things? And I was like, nah, here's my portfolio. It was I think it was a 12 by, I forgot what it was, size book, hardcover. Like, here's my thing. And they're like, oh my God, like, where'd you get this done? And it was like, they loved it. They loved it. They ate it up. And the way I presented it, they were like, all right, this is good.
That's funny because, like, I mean, think about it. Like, I mean, especially me growing up, I was told, work for someone else, work for someone else, work
No,
for
yeah,
someone else.
I couldn't get it wrap my head around that, bro. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, I cannot.
yeah, I'm the same way. I've been an entrepreneur since like early high school, like constantly. So it's like it's funny to see though when you do something like that, everyone's like, "Oh my God, what? This is great. This is
Yeah,
crazy." So it's like you're told not to do these things and not step out of the box and like be
right.
yourself. But when you do, that's when success usually ends up kind of following.
Hmm. I mean,
So,
they saw it. They were like, they obviously nobody's done it before. And off that, they offered me a teaching position.
oh wow.
Yeah, I got to talk. First I was um, it was like for a year they tested it out. I forget what it's called. There's a specific word for it, but whatever. They offered me a teaching position there. Did it for a year, and they're like, "You want to come on full time?" And I did that for about almost 4 years.
Okay.
So I taught that at the same college. I taught for like 4 years.
So I mean, how was that experience?
I loved that. I loved it. There was a couple of bumps, big bumps, and I hated it. But my initial experience was it was awesome. I love teaching other people. These were adults, not just kids. Like they were kids. I consider them kids.
Yeah.
But I was 2007. I was what 13 years younger. So I was what not even what was I? I can't add right now. But I was whatever age I was in 2007, and I was teaching like older people too. Like they're not just young kids coming in. Like their kids were coming in like 20, 21 around there. But I was teaching older people too, and they're just it's pretty unique experience teaching somebody older than you.
No, I can see that like 100%. I've actually thought about like, as a backup plan trying to do that later in life or
Oh
something,
no,
but
well that was mind you. Before I wanted to do the InkOne thing, I was like, I want to teach. It'd be cool to teach,
yeah, to give
and I
back.
did. It was very cool. I love the experience. I got some really awesome students off it, um, and I hope they got what they wanted out of that whole experience. I mean, I thought I was doing a good job. So hopefully they got thought that too. But yeah, it was teaching for like 4 years, and some stuff happened. They fired me,
Oh, damn.
but it was I'm going to real quick. They fired me because it was an animation graphic design school, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever been in anime. Well, yeah, you've been to Fort Lauderdale. The animation kids, they tend to not like to take showers. I think you know this.
I was not aware.
Yeah, they tend not because they're always in they're always in the computer room, working on their
Okay,
stuff.
yeah, yeah, I get what you're
So they
saying.
don't have a chance to go home.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what they like to do, and this was the same experience when I was in AI in Miami, they like to bathe in the bathroom.
Oh.
What's it called? A bum shower.
Yeah,
They
pipe down.
exactly. So one of these afternoons, I go to the bathroom and I didn't see a puddle, and I slip and my knee bangs on the wall. I did a split almost, and I
Oh.
landed full weight on my left knee. I heard a crack.
Oh man.
I got up quick. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I'm in pain, and I'm limping out of the bathroom. I completely forget to go to the bathroom. I go to I already knew what it was. Like all this water around me, soap and everything. I go to the head of the animation department. I'm like, you got to get your kids in check. There's like water and soap, everything. Like somebody's bathing, ducks in the bathroom. And I didn't think nothing of it. I got hurt. I went on with class, but when I got home, my knee was just hurt, like just
Yeah.
in pain. I called out the next day. I was like, hey, I messed up my knee in school. I'm gonna go to the doctor. I go to the doctor. He does a quick X-ray, and he sees like there's a little bit of whatever was there. No big deal. A couple of weeks go by. I get really sick. It's not because of the knee. I just got really sick. So I had to get time off of work. And during that time, they're like, "Hey, we can't hold your full time position no more." I'm like,
Oh.
"What? What are you talking about?" Oh yeah, we can't hold your full time position. What do you want to do? just like that. He's like, what do you want to do? I'm like, I say, well, I'm like, do I lose my health insurance? Because I'm kind of, on my medical leave of absence right now. Like, yeah, if you got to go part time, then you don't have insurance at part time. I'm like, what? Whatever. So I said, I'm not coming back then. I'm not coming back. All right, that's it. It's over. A couple of weeks go by, I start thinking like, man, that's just messed up. What happened? Next thing everybody's telling me, yo, you should get a lawyer. That's messed up. What they did. I contacted a lawyer. Lawyer did his work. Comes to find out, they let me go because they didn't want me to
sue him.
file workman's comp. So they was like, let's preemptively let him go so he doesn't have a chance to file workman's comp. He found that out. That's when we went to court. The whole thing.
Dang.
I came out on top, but it's all good.
Oh, well, that's good, man.
But aside from that, that's the only bad taste in my mouth I have from teaching. It's like, really? Like I've taught with you guys for how long? And so I don't file workman's comp? Come on.
Well, it's kind of funny because I had not completely the same experience, but like I worked in screen printing. I was their like on-hand artist and did like all their separations for everything.
Right.
I've been there for I think like 4 or 5 years at this point, and my stomach issues got like super bad, like really, really bad for 1 year, and I was in and out. And I mean, it got to the point there was, days I couldn't even walk. I was in so much pain.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Well, I'm notifying them of everything and stuff. They know, and I don't even have health insurance to this place.
Right.
I have no health insurance at all. So I'm just trying to self-care at home. I go in one day, and they straight up, they were like, "Hey, we understand you got some medical stuff going on, but we got to fire you." And I'm just, are you kidding me? Like, how can you fire someone in that type of time? Like, it's so cold to me. So, and it's like after I've been there for so long and like everything. But yeah, it's crazy what people will do, like when they're not getting their way or they're scared.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
that happened. They let me go. Now this is probably I've been teaching probably a good almost 4 years. So it's like around 2010. Because they gave me a job right after as soon as I graduated, so that was cool. I had a job there. I taught. There's a couple of instances that happened there. Only there, like my head of the department made me change the grade of a kid I failed because he was the son of one of the administrators.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I was like, what?
That just proves that stuff's out there everywhere.
Yeah, I was like, that was the first instance. I was like, I'm like, all right, if you want me to change it, and there was nothing like I don't want to. He failed. The kid never showed up.
Yeah.
So I was like, how am I going to pass him if he never shows up?
Yeah.
But they're like, no, you got to at least give him a D. You can't fail. It looks bad on us if we fail one of our own administrators' kids. I'm like, that's not my fault. Like, whatever. I did it. Forced to do it. I didn't want to do it, but I was forced to do it. That was like strike one. And I think that's what led to the end. I was like, all right, I'm not coming back then. Whatever. Screw you guys.
Yeah, by that, it's just like, I got bad taste with the teaching part with that stuff.
And then the next semester or next year, I had a student who just wasn't all there, man. He just wasn't all there. Like his frustration would leave him to in class breaking his glasses.
Wow.
He must have gone through like 5 pair of glasses when he was my student. He just couldn't get Flash. Like we were teaching Flash at this point. Flash.
Oh, okay.
For Adobe Flash. If who hasn't used Flash, I mean, there used to be a program called Flash.
Oh yeah, I used it in high school.
Yeah. During his final, everybody had to make a mock website, and during his final, he just couldn't do it, and he just started. I'm sitting in the back, and I see him pulling his hair, and then he just ends up breaking his glasses again. And then next semester comes up, and he's complaining about his grade. He's complaining that I didn't teach him enough, and it was all my fault apparently.
Oh jeez.
And he wanted an apology for failing him.
What?
Yep, I'm in the office. I'm in the office with my head of the department now, and I lost it. It's the first time I lost my cool. I was like, "Fuck you, fuck you." I'm not changing the grade. If you want me to change the grade, you're gonna have to find another teacher now in my head department. I guess they never seen me lose my shit.
Yeah,
because I started. The guy is just with his face like, "Is he gonna hit me?" I remember my head of the department was this little old Chinese man. He was little, small. Imagine a small Chinese man. That's who he was, a small Chinese. He comes to me. He's like, Carlos, please. calm down. He's like, I was afraid. He's telling everybody, you gotta help me with Carlos. I think he's gonna hit this guy. But no, that was another instance where I was like, man, this teaching thing is really starting to get on my nerves
Yeah.
because they're asking way too much. Like this guy's complaining, I didn't teach him enough. He's pulling his hair out and breaking his glasses in class. The other one making me change his grade. And then finally, when the whole thing rolled up where I got sick and they fired me, I was like, all right, I'm not coming back. Screw this. So there was an instance from 2010 to 2012 where I had nothing to do. I didn't know what I wanted to do. InkOne was like, forget InkOne right now. I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah, is that kind of purgatory zone?
Oh yeah,
It happens.
2 years of like 2 years on unemployment. No, it was a good year on unemployment before I started to make money side hustles. But a whole year on unemployment, trying to figure going to these job interviews. My God, I was like, people do this for real?
Oh yeah, like
all these job interviews and interviews with headhunters and then they're giving you these lowball offers. Like I didn't even know how headhunting works. Like it's like, yeah, I'm just looking for a regular 35 grand a year job. It's like, all right, so we're gonna ask for a 50 grand a year because since I'm your headhunter, I get a percentage of that.
wow.
So you'll get your 35, but I'm gonna get the rest. I'm like, what? And like that's how that shit works. I mean, you're crazy. So it was just constant interviews with print shops, and I was just, I'm like, oh man, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah,
And
that area of the interviews is probably one of the worst things ever in life. Like I've been there too.
Yeah, and then around that time, I don't know if you remember, but what's her name? Threadless was around.
Oh yeah.
And Threadless had that voting system shit they had. Remember when you submit a design, you voted. So I did that for 2 years, and I just couldn't. And mind you, everything that got accepted and printed were these really, artsy, cutesy type designs. And I was like, and I tried. And mind you, I'm a jack of all trades. I could mimic a bunch of different styles.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't crack it. I just couldn't crack Threadless. I kept like, man, these guys are. This is a cult, man. They're just a group of people who don't want other people to succeed. So I did that for like 2 years straight. I submitted like crazy, a bunch of different, funny and cutesy designs. It just wasn't happening. And then around the same time, shirt a day sites like T Fury, Shirt Punch kept popping up.
That's how I found out about you.
Yeah, Ripped Apparel. Oh, yeah, look, you're another one. Everybody tells me, I remember you from Shirt Punch or whatever.
Yeah, I think it was the Power Rangers stuff that I saw first.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. It was Power. So Shirt Punch was like new kid on the block. And at that time I gave up. But I was trying to design stuff that wasn't me. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna design something that I want to design. Obviously, favorite movie Ninja Turtles growing up. I was always a fan of the villains. I'm gonna make a shredder. I'm gonna do my style, and at that time it was splatters.
Yeah,
splatter. It was a whole thing.
I love that stuff, man.
Yeah, I do too. I loved it, but so I did that. I did my shredder splatter design. It looked cool. I always have like a graffiti-esque type thing. I added to my stuff. I did it. I subbed it to Shirt Punch. Didn't hear it for like a week. I'm like, all right, another one. Whatever.
Yeah.
And then I hear back from, I guess he was the art department, the art director guy. He says, hey man, we want to print this. It looks really cool. I like your style. It's gonna go live on, I think it was a Wednesday or some shit. I'm like, all right, cool. I didn't think nothing of it. I was like, cool. I finally got picked. I got picked. It's good. And the way it works is it goes on sale for 24 hours and it's over. It goes live 24 hours. It goes live at midnight. I'm checking it, and there was a way to track how much you get. $1 for every shirt sold. That's still the same now. I track it, and
it was only $1.
$1. No, the shirts are $10.
Yeah, I remember that.
$1.
Because I bought a ton of them at that point. I'm a huge shirt person, but like I never got accepted on any of them. I tried multiple times, and I just gave up. I was like, there's too many people submitting, so I just backed out. But I didn't know it was only $1 that you get per shirt.
Yeah, the artist gets $1. I think it's 10% of the final entire thing. So 10,
God, that's crazy to think about. It should be at least 20 or 30.
That's what I thought, but at this point, it was just whatever.
Yeah, you got accepted, so it's like
and the dollar thing is a universal thing too. It's like all the sites only do $1.
Oh, okay.
I guess that's how they figured into it, but whatever. So it goes live midnight, 20 minutes into it. I see there's $125 in my thing. I'm like, what?
Oh shit,
dude! 45 minutes into it, it was like $400. So that means it's 400 shirts sold.
Yeah.
By the end of the 24-hour run, it was like almost 850 shirts sold. In 24
Wow.
hours, I made almost $1,000. I was like, where can I get more of this stuff?
Yeah, I mean that doesn't happen until you're in the
That
pin
doesn't.
game.
Yeah, no, yeah, for real. And this, I had no idea of a pin game at all. This is my.
Yeah, me same.
This is 2010 to 2000. No, this is like 2012. Yeah,
Hmm.
2012 when I got my design accepted, and I got an email that night or the very next morning from the owner. He's like, "Hey man, your shirt is the top selling shirt we've ever had. Mind you, they've been around for I think 6 months at this point.
Hey, that's awesome though.
Yeah, like top shirt we ever had. Do you have any more?" I was like, "Yes, I do." So I just started doing everything I loved as a kid. Batteries not included. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I started doing the Power Ranger stuff.
Yeah,
And the Power Ranger stuff, which I didn't think it was gonna blow up like that. I was like, hey, you know what I like from the Power Rangers? This. So I did that.
dude, it's a huge cult following.
It's a huge cult following. Um, and that's how I got my introduction to Shirt Punch. I did that for a good. This is 2012. I started doing that for a while, and they didn't. They actually hired me to be their art director. Actually, they hired me to do their separations of art and everything. They brought me on part time to do their art separating for other designers and stuff. I did that for like a good 6 months, and then in 2013 they offered me an art director job.
Wow.
So from 2013 to like 2015, I was the art director for Shirt Punch.
Okay.
And then they fired me.
Hey, it's another thing under the belt,
It's
though.
another right, exactly. But then they fired me for the most messed up reasons because they mismanaged money, so they couldn't pay me
Ah,
anymore. And then they had to sell off Shirt Punch to another owner.
dang.
So
I don't.
now,
Are they even active anymore? I don't.
yeah, but it's not the same owners. It's totally new
Okay.
owners. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally new
I
owners.
don't. A lot of the T-shirt stuff, like, because I mean, I was all about all those sites, Minties, like
Yeah,
all those.
Minties was another one. Well,
Um.
the top three back then for the shirt a day where you submitted 24 hours was
Yeah.
T Fury, Ripped Apparel,
And
and
Shirt Punch,
Shirt
right?
Punch. Correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was a couple
No.
in between, but they didn't really last that long.
Yeah. I mean, it was weird because, like, at that time, again, like I worked in screen printing, so I was huge on shirts, but I got a lot of free shirts from the place that I worked and everything. But like I only actually your stuff, and then there's only like one or two other artists that I actually bought like a daily shirt of because,
Nice.
in
Nice.
my opinion, this it was just the style of most of them was too. It just wasn't my thing. Like I was really into like band merch styles and
Mm-hmm.
like like super big oversized prints, like
Yep.
so like just having like the one piece of art kind of like stickered on.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, I wasn't really into it, but when I saw your Rangers and the Ninja Turtles, I was like, "Oh shit!" Like,
That's early on too. The Turtles were early on. Same thing with the Ninja Turtles. I mean, the Power Rangers.
yeah.
Those
I
came
mean,
on.
that Green Ranger one with the Dragon Sword, I think I still got a postcard with that on
Oh,
there.
went with the world in the back or the
It was like
highlight
his
of
helmet, and then I think the Zord was with it, maybe.
yeah, side by side, right?
Yeah,
One was
yeah,
like a one
yeah.
direction one. Yeah, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was
God,
dope. I remember that.
love that piece, man.
That was one. Okay, so that was so when I started off, I was doing like splatter. Everything was splatters,
Hmm.
and then somebody kept complaining. He's like, "Oh, here's this guy again with the splatters." Mind you, I was like, in those 2 years, I must have been printed like over 200 times.
Yeah.
So when somebody's like, "Oh, here goes this guy with the splatters again," so I was like, "Oh man, am I the guy with the splatters?" But at the same time, I was like, "Wait a minute, I'm the guy with the splatters." Like people who see that, like, "Oh, that's an InkOne design." So I know
Yeah, I
I'm
was about
doing
to say
something right.
that's
I know
good.
I'm doing something right. But so at the point, I was like, "All right, I did the splatters thing enough." So then I was like, "People think I'm a one-trick pony." So then I was like, "I'm not." I was like, "I know how to do all this other shit, but this is what sells. I'm trying to make money here." You know what I'm saying? I'm
Hmm.
not, whatever. So then I started doing more parody stuff. And that was going great. I did a bunch of parody stuff, like um, the Black Panther of Zamunda. So I took Eddie Murphy's
I
face.
remember that. Yep.
I put him on. That took off. I did a couple other parody ones that people just loved. The Wu Tang one with Ric Flair.
Yeah.
That one took off. Um, so I started doing more of those, and I started messing more with gradients, or halftones for printing. Because remember, you can't
Hmm.
on screen printing, you can't do gradients, so they have to make them halftone.
Yeah.
So when I started doing that, I saw people, oh, they like this style more. So I kept doing more, semi-realistic stuff, and then it went good for me right there. I mean, I left the splatter stuff behind. Especially, I think there was a couple of artists that started doing splatter stuff, So when they started doing it, they was like, "Oh, there's too much splatter." I was like, "I'm done."
Yeah, that's kind of what happens with everything. You know,
Yeah.
something picks up and it just
Yeah.
starts blowing up, and you're like, oh
Oh yeah.
crap.
Mind you, at the same time, like 2015 was like from like this. I talk about this all the time with my T-shirt friends. We always reminisce, but like there was a time from like 2012 to 2014. It was like the golden era of T-shirts.
Oh my god, yeah. I mean, there was like all these magazines, like there was all these
It
like
was
YouTube videos that were
so many
it was
T-shirts.
great.
It was amazing. It was a great time to make money.
Yeah.
It's a freaking amazing time to make money. I made a lot of money off those T-shirts. Um, one shirt, which is the Majora's Mask shirt, I did. I was like,
I remember that.
It made 10 grand in a month.
Wow.
Every
That's
time we put it
awesome.
up, it was like over 2 grand, 3 grand. One time it always makes 4 grand. It was almost like 12 grand at the end of the whole run.
That's awesome.
Off one shirt. People ate it up. And I remember playing with Majora's Mask when I was a kid. I was playing that game. I was like, you know what? Let me make a Zelda shirt. And that thing took off too. And I think that speaks to what I do now. Everything I do as far as designing stuff is never of like, oh, I should do this. It's like, no, I need to do this because I remember this stuff. If you know what
it's close to you.
Exactly. And I think that's the appeal I guess I have when people buy my stuff. Like, oh, they instantly, I get a bunch of messages like, oh my god, I remember this when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen this in such a long time. This looks awesome, and you get a customer right there automatically.
That's the best part of like what we do. Yeah. Honestly, is like because granted, like you said, we sometimes have to do stuff to make money to survive.
Oh, absolutely.
So I mean, like with me, I love anime. Don't get me wrong, I love anime. But at some times I'm releasing so many anime things that I'm like, oh, man, I just want to do some comic book stuff that I'm like really freaking close to. Like
that's why I started the Power Ranger stuff.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying. I'm hoping over the the end of this year and early next year to kind of get back to like mixing it up more. That's what I'm aiming to do. But like people don't get that artists like they get stuck trying to survive, and they it's hard to get out of that bubble sometimes.
No, yeah, absolutely, man. Like it's again the Power Ranger thing is just. I don't want to be. It's a Power Ranger universe. You could have gone so many seasons, different seasons, different casts.
Oh yeah,
I could have gone forever, but I was like, no, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, dude, I have so many requests all the time for like, can you please give me this Power Ranger, this Power Ranger?
Yeah, and I'm like, oh no, absolutely. Like you need to do the villains. I'm like, don't make me. like I'm in that right now. I'm in that bubble right now with the X-Men.
Like I'm about to be back in that bubble, so
I did all the X-Men, and then and part of me was like, all right, I'm done. But then I'm like, I need to do the villains next.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I've like had when I already did X-Men series once with the pins and everything, and I'm still getting people with some of them that are sold out. Can you please restock? And I'm like, man, I've restocked these so many times and stuff, and I was like, man, I got to do something new with this. So that way, those people that already have those X-Men pins still want this new stuff. So I was like, everyone has been craving for Sentinel pin, like, and I haven't seen one really. Like, I think I've seen like one or two.
But like, I can't do one that's like 2 inches. Like this thing, if I'm doing this thing, has to be like a 5-6 inch thing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I was like, what if I did a build a fit?
I saw that. That's
yeah. I like so I'm like, I'm gonna make that Sentinel like 6-7 inches big.
I just imagine a big ass head with a chain. Oh, that's my thing, right? So
no, I mean the drips
chain
are freaking great.
The drips. So that's what happened after the T-shirt thing. So I got fired. I was like, I don't know what shirt punch. Like I don't know what I'm gonna do now. And then I was like, all right, I did it on my own for a while. Like I mind you, when I was working at Shirt Punch, I was locked in. I couldn't submit to anywhere.
Yeah.
So as soon as I got fired, I was like, I started submitting stuff to T-shirt and Rip me a lot. Ripped actually, there's like, and I remember talking to the owner at the time. I was like, hey man, I'm Carlos, InkOne. I was the art director of Shirt Punch. I'm gonna start submitting stuff. I'm finally allowed to. And he hit me up. He's like, "Hey, what's going on?" He's like, "Hey, man, I just work for them. I never had a chance to submit to you guys. So now that I'm free agent, basically, I'm gonna start submitting a bunch of things." Like, yeah, no problem. So they printed me a lot. They printed me a lot after I got fired from Shirt Punch. But then the whole T-shirt thing started getting really saturated, man.
Yep.
So many artists coming out of the woodwork, these different names. I'm like, holy shit, am I a dinosaur in this now?
Right.
I was like, yeah, I'm done with T-shirts. And then I remember seeing pins and hearing about pins, and actually no, it was the Disney pins I saw. I mean, these are dope. How do people make these? The Disney, the Disney ones.
It was this weird like thing where they kind of creeped in.
Yeah, they creeped in. I don't know from where. I still don't know from where. I don't remember my
Yeah.
first. I don't know where I bought. I think I bought. I think I was at Disney or Universal, and I bought a pin from there. And I remember thinking, man, these are cool. I wonder if they could do like designs, like my artwork on there. But I never really thought twice about it. And then I started slowly seeing pins pop up and people getting pins. I'm like, what the pins? And to me, a pin was the button, the
Mm-hmm.
round button. I'm like, a
Yep.
pin. And I was like, oh, this is a pin. And researching here and there, and and all of a sudden, like, oh, everything's in China. What the hell? And there's some places here, like they're charging how much? I'm like, so you research it, and like, all right, pins. And I remember my first design. It was a Power Ranger pin. It was actually no, it was a golden Link cartridge and a Power Ranger pin.
It's funny. Mine was a Green Ranger pin was my first one. That and Dragon Ball Z Goku skull.
mine was a yellow our golden Link cartridge. He had a little hat and a sword. And then it was a Power Ranger. It was a Green Ranger. It was my first at that time was the first like 2.5 inch pin. And I had like two swords, the two daggers crossed. And I had them, and mind you, when I was doing the t-shirts, I accumulated a fan base on Facebook
Yeah.
because at that time the Facebook pages, you get that Instagram was not a
Yeah, it
thing for
wasn't
me.
super like
It
big
wasn't
yet.
super right. So like I accumulated like almost 25,000 fans on Facebook.
Wow.
Off of t-shirts. And so when I was like, hey, I'm introducing pins took off. And I'm like, oh, I guess pins is a new thing now. So that's how I was introduced to pins. Uh, I saw them. I still can't remember where exactly I saw like another artist selling them,
Yeah.
but I do remember like seeing them. But I just don't remember what specific artist had them. Where I was like, hey, I gotta. Where'd he get that? I don't remember that exactly, but I do remember researching, and it all led me back to Alibaba. I think everybody tried
Yep.
Alibaba once at least.
Yep.
Um, and I did my first pins. Actually, no, I didn't go to Alibaba. I went to Pins Pro Plus.
Oh, I
Yeah,
haven't heard of them.
yeah. I went to them, and it was like they charged me out the ass, bro. It's like compared to now
Yeah,
of
yeah.
what I was like, they totally overcharged me. And then that's when you learn, not to go through middlemen, and then you start
Mm-hmm.
going directly to the factory. And that's how it's been, man. And my first two pins took off, and I was like, I guess this is a thing now. Little middle pieces. I changed cotton to little middle pieces of art now, and that's how I
Hey,
started. That's how I
it,
started.
yeah. I mean, that's like, what year was that actually? Like, what,
This is
2016?
probably yeah,
Yeah, because
16. Yes, right, that's when I opened my Etsy shop, 2016. Yes.
okay, yeah, that makes sense because 2017 is like when I started, but I'm
Mm.
pretty sure it was late 2016 that I was kind of introduced a little bit to the
Yep.
pins. I was working in a factory and we were shipping merchandise for like bands and companies and stuff,
There you go.
or like a warehouse, not a factory. But one of the companies you might have heard of them, Zen Monkey Studios.
Oh yeah, I know that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, we were shipping his stuff
You work
out
for
for
Josh Merman, really?
yeah.
That's funny.
So like one day the guy that ran the company, not Zen Monkey, but that I worked for, I was like, yo, like, are you the one that's helping him get these ordered and stuff? He's like, yeah. He was like, okay, I need that contact info. I want to try this.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty much it. And I mean, like, I started out with Etsy as well. That was like my main source.
Yeah.
I
Etsy
actually,
was
one of the things I want to talk to you about here in a little bit is Etsy, because like I got taken off Etsy. So
Did
I'm
you?
interested on how you survived there without being taken down.
Okay. Yeah, I started my shop in 2016. I didn't really use it to late 2016, going into 2017. Um, yeah, and a lot of I see this in a lot of other artists too. Like they start at Etsy and they're like, oh, I got taken down. Because I'm still in the t-shirt groups on Facebook,
Yeah.
and a lot of them they always post hey, be on the lookout, Nintendo's chopping heads and taking down designs
Oh yeah, I see that all the time now in the pin
yeah,
community.
everybody's like, yeah, they're coming by HBO, and it's true. Even when I was working for Shirt Punch, we'd always get C and D from like HBO or until we started working with actually HBO. Like we started doing like I was a licensed artist while working at Shirt Punch for Showtime, for Cartoon Network. I did stuff for Pause, which are people that own Garfield. I did stuff for the show Dexter. Um, Kevin Smith. I did a couple of designs for Kevin Smith stuff and his podcast people, all that. So I actually work for licensed design, so I know what it looks like when you get a cease and desist from actual companies. So, and the thing that I noticed with these T-shirt people is that, and maybe this was a problem you ran into, is that they named and labeled everything what it was.
That's one thing that I'm even thinking about changing.
Hashtag Marvel, DC, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
I'm like, that's the easiest way to get called out and stopped.
Yeah, and the hashtags I've actually just stopped doing that, but I need to go through my entire shop and like change names.
I did that from the beginning. I did not put a hashtag. I think my only hashtag was because Etsy has its own infrastructure and marketplace where it drives on its own when you get a nice little So you don't have to worry about it too much. But my hashtags were like art, graphic design, awesome, black T-shirts.
Just basic stuff.
Yeah, nerdy.
I did those.
But I would totally avoid putting Marvel or naming whatever the hell it was on and people were putting that on the actual listing.
Yeah,
like Captain America T-shirt, Marvel on the same listing. I'm like, you're gonna get caught, man. I mean, if you want to avoid getting caught, I think my only C&D I ever got on Etsy was from the Bob Ross people.
Oh, okay.
And it was for a sticker. I didn't have a shirt of Bob Ross. It was a sticker that said Bob Ross's lawn care service. And it's Bob Ross lawn care service. And I think the tagline was like something about a little tree with a tagline. So it worked. But they saw it and they're like, nope, we gotta take that down. That's my only strike on Etsy.
My only one has been Funimation.
Funimation, they're another one. Yep.
But I got hit multiple times, so they ended up ripping me off.
Right, that's another reason I stopped. I think it was more enough reason with. I know I saw a lot of people getting the Saban bands. For
Power Rangers.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, it was. I saw them in the T-shirt. People were coming around. I'm like, better safe than sorry. Just take off the Power Ranger stuff. Mind you, at this point, I was done with Power Rangers, so it was fine with me.
It's kind of funny on the Power Ranger thing because Saban, if they're cracking down, it's funny that I ended up being a artist for Karen Ashley, the Yellow Ranger.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, to do pins for her, but I'm just like, it's really funny that you've got your actors that work for you reaching out to people that are doing fan art.
Oh, no, absolutely. I had before man, it's great. Yeah, they do. They know. Yeah, of course. Just before the whole pandemic hit, the girl who did the ladies who did the voice for Gem hit me up, and she's like, "Hey, for Gem in the Holograms, remember that show from the 80s?"
Oh yeah.
She hit me up and she's like, "Hey, I saw your stuff and it looks amazing. I want to get that stuff for my cons." And then the pandemic happened, so that kind of that was cool. And I love Gem, and I think everybody got. Mind you, I'm from the 80s, so the only reason I watched Gem is because my sister watched Gem.
Yeah.
So I remember Jen was like, "Oh hell yeah, Jen the Hologram is a pink-haired chick. I loved her. She was hot when you're a kid. Like, oh hell yeah, the Jens and the Holograms." And oh man, that would have been dope to work on. But again, it didn't. The whole pandemic happened and whatever.
It's crazy how those opportunities pop up too. Because I mean, when I got hit up by her, I was like, what? It's insane. But it's so I mean. To kind of backtrack just a little bit though, along what we're talking about, what is your outlook and opinion on fan art?
Well, fan art. Let's not get it twisted. Fan art is fan art. It's not ours. And the only reason we're doing fan art is to make money.
For sure.
It's not like, oh, that's my character. No, we but the whole thing about doing fan art is one thing, copy pasta. I can't get that behind copy pasta. People see something on a screen cap it.
Oh, yeah.
Or they find an image of whatever they want to work. That's copy pasta. No, I'm not down with that.
Yeah,
if you're going to make fan art, then you got to add something to it.
Yeah, twist it up, make it your own.
Make it something. Give it something that you haven't seen before. Like like
Mm-hmm.
I think with my drips and the chains, you've never seen them where drips or
For sure.
chains anything. So that's my whole thing behind it. I add my own, I give it my own little, InkOne appeal to it, and
Yeah.
but yeah, fan art is fan art to make money.
Well, it's kind of like what you're saying earlier. Like you're doing fan art. I don't want to say the right way, but the way that it should be done when you have people saying stuff like, "Oh, like that's an InkOne piece.
Yes,
oh, that's
absolutely.
a Blastbolt piece." Like as much as it's a character, it's Spider-Man. It's like,
absolutely.
Oh, and I know who did that.
Yep, and that's the same thing I did with when I was doing the T-shirts with the splatters. I do it to a point where people was like, "Hey, that's an InkOne T-shirt design," and I think I got to the point too with the pins, like, "Oh, that's an InkOne pin." I know those are the drips. I know that I love the drips, and they always like, "Oh, that's an InkOne," and they always tag me on pictures like, "Yo, I saw this," and now that's funny. A lot of them tag me with people who've done other characters with chains. Mind you, it's not a new thing. I didn't invent it. But they always tag me like, "Yo, this guy's doing it." I'm like, "No, he's not."
I get that all the time too. They're like, "Hey, I think they stole your style." Or
yeah,
something.
like no,
I'm like, "Nah, dude.
No, they've been doing it for maybe even longer than I have." But I just
you never know.
You never know. But that's what fan art is, man. The fan art is like people who don't get it twisted. Like I'm not claiming these are mine, but I'm adding something to them that you haven't seen somewhere else, and I think that's what appeals to people most.
Yeah. Do you think that? I guess. So my whole thing with the fan art, like I have a feeling it might not be this quick, but I could see within like 5 to 10 years, like things, especially with AI technology and everything, like it's going to get harder and harder to do it.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, mind you, this isn't the forever plan.
Oh yeah, same here. No. Like
my initial plan at the end is to finally release my toy.
Dude, I'm right there. Like I have all these original characters that I want to do toys, the stories, and all that.
So this is just funding my actual vision.
Yeah. Same here,
and I'm gonna write it to as long as it possibly can.
That's exactly what I tell people. It's
paying my bills. It's funding my initial, or my one of my dreams later on, hopefully in the near future. But fan art is what it is, man. It's like it's not mine. I know it's not mine, but you know, I'm adding something to it that I hopefully appeals to somebody else, and if they love it, awesome.
Do you think it helps the industry? Because I think it helps.
Oh, absolutely. Time. I people argue it, but I absolutely think so. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I can attest to that because I get the every time I sell something or somebody notices my stuff, the initial reaction is like, "Oh my god, I haven't seen this in such a long time,"
and they want to go rewatch it.
And they go like, "I'm gonna go rewatch this. I just bought it. It's this awesome reminder of my childhood." I think that's the give. I love that giveaway. That's
or it's even the other way around where they're like, "Whoa, who is this character? It looks awesome."
Oh no, absolutely. Like, yep.
Absolutely. So yeah, no, I'm 100% the same boat as you. Then it's just something I like to get the perspective of other artists, what they think.
And I used to do cons like before the whole thing, and mind you, I only did like a couple of cons a year.
Yeah, me too.
But the people at the cons even more, like they came up to you like, "Oh man," they see like, "Oh man, I remember this," and you're actually having real conversations with people about.
It's such a give back at that point.
Like, oh no, absolutely, yeah.
I miss cons so much, and I only did about 4 years.
I didn't do that many. I only did like probably 2 a year.
Yeah,
but they were the local ones, and like I think SuperCon was a bigger one, and it was. I loved it. Like I loved it. My boy would come down. Playful Gorilla, he's another one of my friends. He would come down and do the con with me, and it was just it's dope, man. It was just so cool. See, you're interacting with people who not only are fans, but they're actually hardcore fans of whatever it is you're selling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like people will come up to you like, "Oh man, did you read this the series between?" I'm like, "Nah, I didn't read that, man." I'm sorry.
You like, get stuck and you're like,
about it. Like I know it and I love it, but you're going into like the lure of the whole thing, and I never got into that shit. I'm like, "Oh man, you beat me on that." But I appreciate it.
We get stuck too because like like we were talking a little bit before the episode, like with the vacation, like like I go on vacation, I'm still like my mind's just work, new ideas, like all that stuff. So it's like we are constantly putting time into like what we're doing that we like don't even have time for the new stuff that's coming
I'm
out.
telling you, man. Everybody's like, "Oh, you gotta watch this and you gotta watch that. You should do stuff, like the like Sword Art Online." Or
Yeah.
I'm like, first of all, that's what goes back to I can't do something just because I watched it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, you got to enjoy it.
yeah, I gotta enjoy it. And that goes in everybody's like, "Oh, you gotta do this." And like, I have a huge list of stuff I want to do
Same
as far
here.
as,
Yeah.
but and I don't know when I'm gonna get to it. But when they come at you with, "Oh, you should watch this so you can make this," like, a new anime that just came out, I'm like, I can't get behind that. Like, I can't just pander real quick to something that I know nothing about. If I'm gonna watch something, I have to watch it a couple of times and actually enjoy it. If I don't know it, if I don't enjoy it, then I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
And I see plenty of artists who do this like random stuff. I'm like, come on, you were not into that at all.
Well, I mean, I can vouch a little bit. Like the pin drop I did just a few days ago, it was for some characters from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
But JoJo, I don't know if you ever saw JoJo before, but JoJo's dope. Like, I want to do JoJo stuff, I just haven't gotten around to doing it.
Well, I mean, like, so I personally, I've had people requesting that for,
I can imagine
forever. Yeah, you know. So, and I tried to watch it way back. Well, no one had really told me the first season, blah blah blah. You know, it's different. Everything. There's a lot of time in that series, big time. So I was just like, I was trying to think of like something fresh that I could do, and I was like, I'm going to sit down and watch JoJo's. And so I get through a decent ways, and I was like, okay, yeah, this wasn't that bad. Like, I never had the time to invest in it until now,
right?
Or wanted to sit down and invest into it, but like it paid off. Like now I enjoy something new because I was told to do it. So it like sometimes it works both ways,
right?
So, but yeah,
but yeah, like stuff like that. Like I gotta be into the thing I'm doing in order to really get the full benefit from it. You know what I'm saying? Because
for sure.
We could design whatever. You know this. Like we could design whatever and make it and sell it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It just I get a bigger takeaway of something where I'm like, oh, I remember this as a kid. That's the thing with all the X-Men. Like all the X-Men are from like the cartoon, the '90s.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, oh man, I got to do the villains now. But doing all the initial X-Men, I was watching, like I'm designing on my computer and I'm watching the screen because now that Disney Plus has the whole damn series now. I'm watching. I don't even got to look at the screen. I'm just hearing them talk, and I already know
what's happening.
I know what's happening. I know the scene, and I look up like, oh, exactly what I remember. Like the whole thing, the whole man, like even when I first started watching the first couple of episodes when Morph disappears.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I remember. It's like, and I'm taking it back. I'm like, where the hell was I when I was a kid watching this? I remember being, plunked down in front of the TV, eating cereal, watching this, and then like you basically like you remember that scene from Ratatouille where the guy eats the whatever what was it, the bowl, the food, and then he gets sucked back to when he was a kid.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it's like. You're like,
no, for sure.
What?
Yeah,
it's crazy. So I mean, when I enjoy stuff like that, I'm like, all right, then there has to be a pin.
It's that little extra to it.
Yeah, that little, right? It's a little like connection. It's almost like a connection to each thing you do. Like
yeah, there's like this. Like some people say, like, the energy of something stays in a house or blah blah. Well, it's the same thing with like a visual image in your mind. Like there's those memories tied to it. Like I mean, the same thing with Dragon Ball Z. Like every time I do something Dragon Ball Z related, I have the same memory come back up of.
Oh yeah, right. That's crazy. And it's not like that's new. It's like the same. Like it's like deja vu.
Exactly.
Like, wait, I was here already. What happened?
Yeah, it's so bizarre, but it even no matter how many times it happens too, you have this like little grin, come up.
Oh no,
like, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm doing the right thing.
I feel myself every time I'm designing something.
Yeah.
And when it comes out exactly how I want it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be good. And I think it comes back to the pins. Like I don't just design. I see people designing stuff and they're just designing it. But like my pins, I design them. If I design it how it looks, that's exactly how I want the pin to look.
Yes.
Like you see, what you see on screen is exactly what you're gonna get in hand. And I'm lucky enough to where I know how to design like that, and I have a manufacturer that could see that exactly what I'm doing. And I think that's what people really enjoy too. Is like, okay, because I see a lot of time people have something to design on screen. It looks a little bit different or
Mm-hmm.
sometimes totally different what was interpreted on a pin. But the fact that I'm able to take what I have on screen, colors and everything, line thickness and everything, line work, and have it exactly transferred onto a pin, I think people appreciate that too. I mean,
No, definitely.
if
Like,
yeah, if you design what it looks like from scratch and actually looks like at the end, uh, that it's just dope feeling because like, oh man, it's exactly like you're almost drawing on a piece of metal,
yeah, for sure. And
and it
it's
looks
you can
yeah
definitely see a difference when you see those people like what we talked about earlier, they're screen grabbing.
yeah
Like you're like, okay, that you didn't even do a good job of that. Like,
yeah. Oh.
But yeah, no,
Again, I'm not knocking nobody's hustle, but that's
no,
just
no, no,
tough.
not at all. You do
It's
your
tough.
thing.
It's
I
tough,
just
man.
like I said this on the first episode. I and this can actually kind of segue a little bit. So my thing is like if if you want to do some stuff like that, there are so many people out there that can help you. Like instead of screen grabbing.
Yep.
And even if it's you sending them the picture and saying, I want this, but just like you put your flair to it.
Hmm.
Like, just something to kind of change it up. But like, without going too much into that, like I'm actually not aware. Do you only do your art now or do you do commissions? Like,
I try to do a little bit of everything. Like I try to open up commissions. I'm at the point where I could pick
yeah,
commissions.
same.
So if it's I always first of all when they ask, I'm like, all right, cool. Do you have a budget in mind?
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes a lot of times they see I get a lot of these aside from actual commissions. Like, oh, I wanted this whatever. I get like, hey, can you make my pin?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yes, I can, but I need to know if you have a budget because I think the minute you hit them with like it costs this much,
Oh,
they're like,
people back out a
oh,
lot.
they back out, yeah, all the time. They're like,
Yeah.
well, why so much? I'm like, I don't know why so much.
Yeah. Well, it's my time.
This is my no, no, no. I'm not even talking about my time to make it. I'm talking
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
production costs. They're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
what?
No.
Yeah, they're just like, why does it cost that much? I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, man. And I'm like, and on top of that, I'm not gonna have to charge you my art fee on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, let me get back to you. I love that.
Yeah, I've got to a point now where like as much as I know, yes, a single pen can be made.
Right.
If people, because I get those questions too, I'm just like, no, you have to buy in bulk of minimum 50.
Yep.
Like,
50, yep.
because as soon as you tell someone like one single pen could cost like almost $200 possibly, like after shipping, like they're like, oh, whoa. So it's like, well, I mean, yeah, why would you want to spend that much?
So once in a while, I'll open up a couple commissions. Like somebody hits me up. Like just recently, this guy hit me up. He's like, he bought a bunch of stickers. Like, hey, do you do custom stickers? I'm like, I can. What do you have in mind? He's like, I just want my logo. I'm like, all right, I could do that. I gave him a good price. I did about 50 pieces of his, because I print my own stickers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I cut them and I print them and I ship them off with his order. And he's like, yeah, it's dope. So
Awesome.
I'll do stuff like that. But like,
yeah,
taking on actual commissions, like I see you taking on commissions like that, and I used to do it, but it's like it's too much of a headache.
it is. No, I mean,
It's too much of a headache.
I don't say anyone that's listening. I don't want to say it's a headache for me to do your commissions by all, but when you tag on like next week, for instance, I took on some commissions last month, and I said I'd start them in November. So all of November right now, I have to do commissions. I have to do inventory. I have to get Black Friday done. Like it's going to be a hectic.
So that's
month.
why I say it's a headache.
Yes.
Not because of doing it. It's a headache.
Yeah,
like, if you take one on, I can't. I'm not a copy machine, right?
Yeah,
I can't just press the button and done. I gotta sit there and look at it. I'm gonna take my time with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I have a whole list of commissions that need to be done, I can't work. I'm not gonna work with that type of stress.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why I don't do it near as much. I mean, the last time I've done like one or two like in between, but the last time I actually took like a batch of commissions, like I just did,
right?
It was either right after my son was born back in March, or it was before that. It was like early this year because I knew this year was not going to be easy, like to do that stuff.
Right.
So yeah, it's one of those things. Like I kind of did it because. I mean, this is also to kind of put this out there with people too, if they're listening. Like, we're not always making constant money. Like this past month for me, like I would say all of October and a little bit of the end of September was actually the slowest time this entire year, and it's probably because Black Friday is coming up, like sales and everything like that.
Pay for that?
Do what?
When's the actual day for Black Friday again?
I just kind of, it's like right around like Thanksgiving. It's
Right
the
around
day,
Thanksgiving, right?
yeah, right after.
Yeah, that's what it was. Okay.
So I mean, it's coming up, and it's like,
Yeah, I still don't know what I'm gonna do for Black Friday. I have no idea. Everybody's hitting me up like, "Oh, you're gonna have sales." I'm like, I don't
yeah.
know. I have no idea. Are you gonna do? Are you gonna drop something new? I have no idea.
And I made the mistake a couple weeks ago, and I posted up a story about it, and I was like,
Nope.
"Oh crap!"
You can't.
Like,
You gotta stick to it.
yeah. So it's like, as soon as I said, "Okay, Black Friday is coming," like everybody's like, "Oh, put the brakes on."
Yeah, no.
So yeah, I mean, like, there's definitely slow moments. So like, that's kind of why I was like, okay, I'm gonna need to take little commissions to make that balance back, type thing.
I've been pretty lucky with sales and stuff. Again, I think it's just pertains to the fact that I just drop all the time. Like I'm always dropping stuff.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that I think
you got a good manufacturer though, because like a lot of people are dealing with crazy delays on manufacturing.
I know that for a fact.
It hit me hard.
I talk to her all the time, and she's actually really cool. She's really cool. She always says, I think this is with all manufacturers. They always apologize for everything.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Like I didn't complain to say for a sorry. They're just like, oh
yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm like, no. I talked to her. I'm trying to tell her, like, no, it's okay. Just want to let you know this, what I need, whatever. But she's actually really cool. She actually sends me tea. And like every time I get a package, she's like, "Oh, did you?" Like, I tell her, like that tea was great. She sends me green tea straight from over there.
Oh, like, nice.
Package and everything. And she's like, "Did you finish that tea?" I'm like, "Yeah, it was really good. It was really good tea, actually. It's really good. It was oolong tea. And I love that stuff. If you ever drink oolong tea." And I told her it was great. I loved it. And she's like, "Oh, I'll send you another one." So she sends me another one. I mean, I guess I'm probably her. She's the only one I've dealt with. Like I don't know how many manufacturers you've gone through, but I've gone through like
I've gone through about 5, but I have 3 current ones.
I've gone through like 4 manufacturers, and I'm only on 2 now, and she's my main one.
Yeah, I
use, and it's just like she knows every time. She already knows. I don't even got to tell her stuff. She's like, I'll make sure they do this right, and because for a while my pins, the back mold would always be crooked. And I was telling her, I'm like, listen, is there a way we could just avoid that being crooked and it be straight all the time? She's like, oh, it's just difficult because each pin is a little bit different size and this and that. I'm like, so what's the easiest way to deal with this? She's like, you can laser it. I'm like, just laser everything from now on, because it just bothered me that my logo in the back would be a little crooked and everything. I was like, no, we gotta. So she was really cool about that. She's like, don't worry, I remember you want the back straight. I'm like, yes, the back straight. Every time I place an order. So she's pretty cool. So again, it's the relationship with your manufacturer, honestly, that really makes the
for sure. I mean, I've had one of mine, or no, 2 of mine. I've been with for since I started.
Nice.
And then the other one I've been with for about 3 years. So, and I mean, those 2 are great. And I have another one that I used a lot last year, and that he took on too much, and that's why these delays happen.
Okay.
But his quality is like the best that I've had. So it's like I'm trying to kind of manage that balance of those. But back to your pins and everything, like you're full limited edition, right?
I used to not be, yes, but yes, I am now full limited edition.
I've started doing more limited edition. I'm slowly thinking about going almost full limited edition, because I'm starting to notice that, like, and I mean, you could probably vouch for this. Yeah, I mean, you just said your sales have been great and everything, which is awesome. People go faster.
Oh yeah,
and grab stuff quicker. Well, I guess same thing, but yeah, like it drives that traffic way fast.
I know. I think I started doing that a little bit early on, because one, I just didn't want to have that much inventory on hand all the time.
I have so much, man. It's a nightmare.
And the only way I'll release now, and I get this message all the time, like, is this ever going to be back in stock? And I was like, and I tell them the same thing I'm about to say now, only if it's a new variant.
Yes.
And I think I've done that twice for like 2 or 3 pins, because it's just it's a variant I wanted to do it, just didn't want to do it yet. And again, if enough people say they want it, then I'll do it. But yeah, that's the only way.
You do what, 100 pieces?
No, I used to do 100. Now I only do like 50 or 75.
Oh wow, okay. See, that's where I've kind of got in trouble this year. Is I did so many, like, I would do like 6 variants per design.
No.
And like, I would have one design that was like almost 200 pieces.
No.
and it's just too much for people to look like. Yeah, you got those some people they're gonna buy them all, like, you know, it's great. But like, I have some pins downstairs, you know, that I'm sitting on like tons of backstock that are probably only going to sell if I charge like, you know, $4 or $5.
Right.
So yeah, and that's why like with the LE, you feel like it does.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's that more that limited feel. It gives people like that. Oh, I have to get this now because they're gonna sell out.
Yeah,
gonna happen. Like the way I do it is like if I do a design and I do a pre-order for a design, I'll put 25 for sale. So that means I'll order 75 of them. So I have 50 to sell.
Okay.
So if those 25 move, those are the lucky ones that get the 25 and they get a free sticker with it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I do with pre-orders. Free sticker, free shipping type thing.
I used to do the free shipping, but the shipping is eating into my thing.
Oh, no, I'm about to end it.
Yeah, I lowered it to $3. Normally shipping's $5. Now I lowered it to $3 for pre-orders.
Yeah. I'm either going to end
I hate
it
that.
or I'm going to put it into the cost.
I want to give the incentive, you know, that to buy it as a pre-order, but giving free shipping just eats into your pocket, man.
It really it hurt me big time this year.
And I stopped doing the free shipping just recently, like probably past 3 months when there's a pre-order. I stopped doing the free shipping.
Yeah.
Because it's just too much. Like I want to take on that cost, but it's like at the end when you do all the math at the end, you're like, no, I can't.
Yep. Plus, they're always raising rates too, and especially with what's going on right now.
Especially now, it's going to raise even more. Apparently.
Yep. I just saw a couple of days ago they're raising for holidays.
So I'm like, all right, gotta.
Well, so I mean, you've given a pretty good explanation of where you've come from, where you're at now. Like, I mean, you're going to ride this pin thing out like the best you can.
No, yeah, the best I possibly can. Absolutely.
Which, you know, that's what we got to do. You know, we take whatever is active at the time and we just run with it until there's some new thing on the horizon, you know?
Right.
I mean, before we kind of, you know, end this out, like on the artistic side of things, you've kind of briefly talked about like when you work on a piece, you really want to like make sure that you're into it. Like,
oh no, absolutely.
Do you have?
Man, I'll procrastinate on a piece for days before I start it. I'm like, it'll be in my head. Oh, no, dude, I'm telling you, like you said, you're on vacation, you kept drawing, you couldn't stop drawing, you know, always working. I'm the same way. Like before I go to bed.
Oh, that's the worst time, dude. Ideas galore.
No, yeah, like before I go to bed, I'm like, all right, I need to sleep.
Yeah.
And I started going back to bed early because I got a handle on it for a while. I was going to bed at 10 o'clock on the spot. 10 o'clock, boom, I'm in bed. I wake up 7. I'm a morning person.
Yeah.
And I'd go to bed, wake up. You know, my internal clock will wake me up at 8 a.m. all the time.
Yeah, me too.
Without an alarm.
Yeah.
But then recently, I think it's because of the whole pandemic thing, dude.
It probably is.
I've been starting going to bed super late. But I'll still wake up 8 a.m. My internal clock doesn't mess around. It's like, I'll go to bed at 3. I'm waking up at 8 no matter what. You know what I'm saying? My internal clock is like, nope, you got to wake up. So with those times where I'm like going to bed at 3 in the morning, I'm still thinking about what I want to do. It doesn't stop, man. It just really doesn't stop.
Never.
You don't stop thinking. And especially because like I'll have like in my head like conversations I had with like, you know, random, you know, people who message me on Instagram. It's like, oh, you should do this. And then like that little, you should do this. Like, should I?
Yeah, it gets in there.
It gets in there. I was like, what about this can I do? And then I start breaking it down. And then finally, again, the whole, how do I get to the art thing? I'll get an idea. And I was like, that's the one I want to do. I'll watch whatever, you know, YouTube clips. I was like, oh, I remember that from this whatever character. And I'll sit on it. And I'll think about it, and I'll do other stuff, and that shit will always be in the back of my head. It's like, I gotta start working on that one soon.
Yeah, it just keeps kind of ticking at you.
It keeps ticking at you, and then it'll happen at like random time in the middle of the night. I'll wake up to use the bathroom, come back, I'll just sit in my computer, start going at it. And before I know it, it's like 7 a.m. The sun's coming out. I'm like, here we go again. And then usually the thing is when you see me post a new design, it's probably I've been thinking about it for weeks, and I just finished it that night.
Yep.
Like I'm fast when I'm coming to design stuff. Like when I get in the zone, I'm in it. I'm
the same way.
I know exactly where I want.
It's that lead up prep time that takes so long.
The lead up prep time, man. And I recently did that with like the past 14 pins I just dropped. All of them were just I've had those done for weeks. And I was just like, I can't release these all at once because first of all, they weren't all done yet.
Yeah.
I had like the beginnings of line works for each one, and if I look at that folder, they're all like a thought that happened a week before, and they just had like literally just had like it's either the file with the name and like a one line on it or two lines on it, and then I'll just close that file and go revisit it whenever I have a chance. And the last 14 or 13 designs that I dropped, they were like that. There were weeks of designs I already had done or haven't finished, and I finally like, all right, these are all dropping. And it's one of the first times I didn't do a pre-order for a couple. I didn't do a pre-order for a couple of them, just because I didn't. It's not that it's annoying, but it's a lot of prep, man.
I know what
you gotta get the pre-order file ready. You gotta get it mocked up for your shop. You gotta get all the verbiage on it right.
It's so much easier just to place that order, wait for the pen to come in, and just be like, "Here it is."
Absolutely, 100%. And I think I did that just because I'm, I had the luxury of doing that because I had a couple of great months of sales. I had that luxury. I didn't have to do a pre-order.
Yeah.
But it's still that the prep for a pre-order is just it's a lot of work, man. Like it goes into
sure.
it. Then you got to post about it. The whole IG thing is another thing I'm always constantly on. I'm always getting messages. Like I have to mute it sometimes because and I love interacting with everybody who comes to it.
It's a lot though.
It's a lot, especially when they come at you. It's like, oh, you should do this. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not ready for you yet. Give me a minute. I just woke up. I need coffee.
I mean, when I got home from vacation, I had to finish up those JoJo designs and everything. And I guess I just wasn't thinking, right. But like when I sat down to finish those and then get all the pre-order stuff ready to drop it that night, it was like 7 hours of work that day.
No, yeah, dude. And it happens all the time. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do it fast. But then all of a sudden, like 4 hours have passed. Like, what was I doing?
Yeah.
And it was just setting up the file and getting it ready. It's crazy.
It's not all art. It's a lot of other stuff.
It's not all art. Yep. I'm telling you, the magic happens in like 3 a.m. randomly when I'm like, I need to just get this down. And
a lot of times when I do my iPad stuff, it's like 10, 11 o'clock at night, and I'm laying in the bed.
Into the day. Yeah, it's like when everybody's ready home from work, that's when I'm working.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and during the day, it's usually just me in the office doing inventory, counting, making sure everything's bagged and packaged. It's just during the day, it's not designing. Hardly any designing during the day. It's at night that stuff happens.
Yeah. Well, when you do actually sit down to do your art, like, is there a routine? Is there something you got to have on, like, or like?
Oh no, yeah, of course.
Like, how does? And then we'll kind of finish. That'll kind of like finish out, this episode. And again, like, I hope to have you back on again.
Oh no, absolutely, this is fun, man. The routine is always I have to. I think it's become like it's more routine. It's more like
a ritual.
A ritual. Like I get 4 bottles of water. And I don't. They're sitting right next to me over there when I'm working. 4 bottles of water, 1 iced coffee, and I usually have if I got them from the store, I'll have like a couple of green apples. In hand, and I'll put my music on. I'll put the TV on. It doesn't have to be something I would just just background noise.
Yeah, same way.
And it's background noise, and then I'll just stare at the screen for like a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I do the exact same thing. That's so crazy.
I'm like, I just look at it.
Yeah, it's like you're getting into the zone almost.
I've caught myself doing this a couple of times. I'm just like, I look at the screen. And I'm like, I'll just move around like the
mouse
panel. Yeah, the mouse with the panel. Okay, I want my panel here.
Yeah,
I want the Pathfinder panel right here. Because I work in Illustrator. Everything's in Illustrator. I want that here. I'm looking at it. I got the right size. And I'll just sit there for a while and I'll just watch the TV and then look around. And then something will just be like, all right, let's start. And that's how it starts.
There's like this little click moment. It's so weird because I've heard that from so many people where they have to take this, like, it's almost that their brain is like silently planning out what they're about to do.
I tell you, once I have checked off, I got my water, I got my snacks and my apples and my coffee. I'm like, all right, let's look at the screen for a little bit, and I know exactly what I want to do. I just like, all right, when do I start? I'm waiting for like the moment to like click, and like, all right, now, and then let's just go.
Now, are you a reference worker? You work off reference?
Sometimes, yeah. A lot of times, like, especially if you've been drawing for a minute, like you remember how stuff looks. Like when this was a thing for the Power Ranger helmets. Like you can't forget a Power Ranger helmet. Like you know
Yeah.
exactly where that goes, what that looks like. But like for reference stuff, like I did a lot for the more recent one. Reference when I was doing the Storm pin, I did.
Yeah.
I knew she had a variant of costume for the
I
Marvel
was
versus
just looking
Capcom.
at that
The
actually.
Marvel versus Capcom, and I was like,
Yeah.
I had to look at it. I was like, where were the colors? What were the colors again? Stuff like that.
Oh yeah, colors I have to because
Yeah,
like
colors.
even
Yeah, 100%
even if I
colors.
know them, like I'm like, I'm gonna miss something.
Right, the Dragon Ball Z stuff, same thing. Like I know how to draw Dragon Ball Z. The faces, like you could give him any face, honestly.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and it looks as long as because you've been drawing it for a minute, so you know what they look like.
They got Saiyan hair, they're good.
Yeah, same, right, exactly. Um, but like yeah, I'll use reference images sometimes. Again for color and for also for scale.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I was like, oh man, I totally drew him wrong. Like he had way bigger shoulders or a
Oh
neck
yeah.
or something. And
Especially someone like Cable or something.
right, okay, well, yeah, right, exactly. I did that. I think I had to do a couple of references on. I know I did for Wolverine because like all the stuff I saw him, he never shows his full neck.
Yeah.
It's always like his that muscle ass
Yeah,
back he
he's
has.
hunched over with a
He's
big old
hunched over.
freaking
So I was
trap.
like, oh wait, I'm like, all right, I need to reference that because I was drawing him with a neck. It just wasn't looking right.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, like little things like that. But I never like I don't sketch. Everything's line work from the start, like the final
Oh
line work from the
really?
start. Yeah, I don't sketch. Like
Wow.
I don't. And that's bad. That's bad on me.
No, but that's great that you can do that.
Yeah, like I'll look at it and I'll know what I want to do, and then like, but again, it all comes back to everything you learn in school, right? Like I still do the head with the eyes, the five eyes across, and to learn where exactly the nose would fall. I still do that, but it's all done in my head.
Oh, okay.
Like, because I've done it so much, you see it.
You're
Like,
sketching internally.
yeah, I'm saying, yeah, 100% sketching internally, 100%. Now, mind you, that's not like I'm making perfect line work every time. Like, I erase a bunch of times, but like, it's never like a reference sketch under
Yeah.
it. Like, I'll do it from there. Again, you mentioned it's the drip, so I've done it a bunch of times already, so I know exactly what needs to go and where. But yeah, I haven't worked from a sketch in a minute. Like, if
Are you a mouse and keyboard guy with
yep,
Illustrator?
mouse and
Okay.
keyboard, yeah.
Yeah. Before
I can't get used to
tablet,
a tablet.
I couldn't do it either. The funny, like I tried for years. I bought
I tried
tons
for
of
a
them,
while. Yep.
but once I got my iPad, everything changed.
iPad was great. I loved using it for a minute, and actually, I did sketch on my iPad for a while, and I liked using it. But then I just stopped using it for whatever reason. I think it was just
I mean, if you're already working in Illustrator and you're good with mouse
right,
and keyboard, you might as well just
right,
do it because your vector is going to turn out cleaner. Like I have to take
yeah.
all my stuff that I do on the iPad. I pretty much export a PSD of it, and then I have to open that PSD layered into Illustrator and live
I
trace
think
every single layer.
I think that's why I stopped doing it. It was too many steps in order to get
Yeah.
that artwork to where I wanted it.
Yeah, definitely. And you even once you live trace, you have to go in and like fix areas and stuff. So like,
Right.
so yeah, there's definitely more steps. So speaking of the drips, like I mean, like that's your main thing. Are you
Yeah.
got any interest in anytime soon? Or are you got any new things that you might try? Or
The drips, like I said, I just do a little bit of everything, but the drips just took off.
yeah, for sure.
They just took off to a point where it was like I just need to keep doing them. They're fun to do. But they took off. I had some other style pins that I introduced earlier on that were good, and I want to revisit those.
Oh crap! Hold on one sec.
Oh yeah.
All right, we're good.
I want to revisit those. So yeah, there's a couple. I don't want to keep doing drips, but I mean I love doing them. People respond to them.
No, they're awesome. Yeah, I wasn't sure if there's anything on that list that you were getting at here soon. Just more drips though.
More drifts, villains. Because that's another thing. I need to do more villains and more girls.
All right,
That's
so
what I
we
lack on.
gonna see Mr. Sinister.
Yes,
Okay,
villains
awesome.
definitely Mr. Sinister, Omega Red,
Apocalypse, maybe.
Apocalypse. And again, if you do Apocalypse, you gotta do a big Apocalypse. You can't just do a little one.
That's my next question was about to be. Are we gonna see any big size pins?
I want to. Yes, I don't know this year because it's already what.
Oh yeah, no, I mean,
but I want to say 2021. You're gonna see at least one big 6-inch pin drop.
nice.
And I don't know what. Cool. It's probably going to be either a World Eater or I don't want to bite off yours, but I wanted to do a Sentinel for a minute.
Oh, dude, do it, man. Like,
Imagine a big old Sentinel with a drip on it.
yeah. No, I mean, like,
That'd
either
be
way,
amazing.
that should be cool. So are I see a lot of Marvel, a lot of, vintage anime, Power Rangers, stuff like that. Like, are you not necessarily a DC fan?
No, I am. I had a couple of Batman's ones, but they sold out already. Like I had a couple of Dark Knight stuff. I had the Joker already, the Harley Quinn, and
I remember the Harley. I guess I missed the Joker and Batman.
yeah, the Joker ones. I think they're sold out for sure. The Harley and the Ivy are still there.
Yeah,
Those are the only girls I've done.
did they do? They don't. So, like, I've done a couple of DC things, and I will say they don't do near as well as Marvel, in my opinion. Is that the same for you?
I want to say so, yeah, because like I still got a couple of DC ones.
Yeah,
the Harley.
it sucks because, man, I love DC. Like,
Yeah, I mean the Batman was the Batman's Batman. I think Batman on its own sells good.
yeah,
I don't think
Batman. He's just there's DC and then there's Batman.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, for real. I think it's just a matter of I don't know, man. It's like whether to gauge something if it sells good or not.
It's hard, I know.
It's just I mean, yeah, I could go into my this sold this much, but I think it really comes down to like when you drop something.
Yes, big time. And also Instagram
Right?
is a huge thing of like, did people even see it? Like,
Right. Yeah. Especially now. Yeah. Especially now, a lot of accounts are getting like these weird restrictions on them.
oh, dude, I'm like my views have gone down like
Yeah, like
drastically.
one week I'll have like amazing views, and all of a sudden like what
Yep.
happened here? Yeah, so I don't know what's happening with that algorithm or whatever.
Yeah, and I got banned from advertising on Instagram too.
Really? Why?
They like legit every time I've tried to message, and I've tried to message like over 10 times. All it keeps saying is that I violated their rules and regulations, and I'm like, quit copy and pasting. I know you're a bot. Like, I just want to talk to someone like that's actually real because like I don't know what I did. All I was doing was I'd make a drop, and then I would advertise that drop. Like that was it.
You'd pay for it or no?
Oh yeah.
Was it paid? Wow, that's weird. I don't know.
Yeah, so now I'm banned from that, which hurts me not just on Blastbolt, but like I have my Mystic Vibes and my Sage mode.
Oh, that's right, the Sage mode. Right.
Well, if you get banned on any of those, it bans all of them.
Shit.
So
yeah, I've heard that from people. They call it shadow banned or whatever.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's just dealing with like the whole copyright thing, though.
Maybe, man. Maybe.
Yeah, but who knows? I'm just gonna keep hustling, just like you are.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, that's just weird. Yeah, again, Instagram is weird. One minute you're like, you're getting all these great views and everything, and the next it's like you see your stuff is limited. Like what happened? Mm-hmm. And there's really like you said, there's really nobody to ask like what is happening. Yeah, it's the only bad part about Instagram. But other than that, I mean, I tried. Again, everything's word of mouth. Like all my sales are directly from me posting.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what drives my sales. And then you get the like. I don't know. You don't have an Etsy no more, right?
Nope.
Oh yeah, well Etsy you can see where the sales are coming from.
Oh, dude, when I had an Etsy, it was doing great too.
Yeah.
Like I was so bummed. Like I didn't cry, but I wanted to when they got taken down. Like,
who do you have now? You have a Shopify?
No. So Shopify, I had one a long time ago. I have one for Mystic Vibes because that's like original designs. But when I was on Shopify with Blastbolt like 2 or 3 years ago, I ended up getting a letter from them saying that they had been contacted about the copyright stuff. So they were like, you can stay on here, but we can no longer do Shopify payments. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to go.
How did that work?
Huh?
How did that work if they can't do Shopify payments then?
It would be straight PayPal.
Oh, wow.
So I got off there and I do Squarespace. And I mean, I love Squarespace.
All right.
Yeah.
That's another thing I was looking into. Like when the stuff I don't want to. Stuff that's not fan art.
Yeah,
I want to put it on my own another site that's going to be
non-fan art. Squarespace is amazing. I used all before. Like I've used Wix, I've used Big Cartel, but in my opinion, Squarespace is the best like that I've used.
Okay, cool.
So, but yeah, man, like I really appreciate you coming on. What we'll do?
Hey, man, I appreciate it having me, man, for real.
Oh yeah, it's been great. I'll pull up, your Etsy real quick, and you can kind of just like show some people some of your stuff that you're pushing right now.
For sure.
Actually, I'll pull up your Instagram first, and we'll just float through there, just so people, if they're not already following you. Let's see. All right.
You see all those top 8 rows that just dropped.
Dude, these Spider-Man ones are killer.
Yeah, that's, I have one right here. I was gonna show it off real quick. This one.
And that's stained glass, right?
Yep.
I've got some in production with it, and I can't wait to see
I
how it
had
turns
no
out.
idea how this was gonna happen. I was gonna look at the end. All I knew was that I wanted it to look like this, and
Here, actually hold that up, and I'm going to go back to... Actually, I wonder... Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that looks super good, man.
back. Stained glass. Let me see.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I can't wait to see some of the ones that are coming in with that stained glass.
Yeah, this was a collabo with No More Mutants. He helped produce them. And
I love that page.
yeah, like I didn't know I was following him before I knew him. Like I met him. We met him at a con. He came down.
Really?
Yeah, we met him at a con. And that's how we actually linked up. Like, oh, he's like, I run this page. I was like, oh shit, I've been following that page for a minute. And that's how that happened. But yeah, see, all my stuff's there. The drips. I'm gonna change the layout soon or anything because I'm tired of all the white.
I mean, it looks good, but
it looks clean. But I'm trying to do this with the brick. You see the brick on the background?
Oh yeah. That looks nice.
I actually commissioned a guy to do a whole stage for me because I'm gonna have different angles.
That'd be cool.
He did a whole 12 scale stage for me, like of a back alley and everything. So I'm gonna use that for my photograph stuff next. That's all for 2021. New look on InkOne.
Yeah, guys, definitely check out his work. The link is on the video, as you can see. And then his Instagram's here as well, InkOne_art.
Yeah, those are the new production pics I got from the cable and
the Jean Grey and the cable is looking really good.
Yeah, the Jean Grey actually arrives this week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I'm waiting on that.
Man, you're getting your stuff so quick. We might have to talk afterwards.
But yeah, man, all the stuff you see is there stuff from a kid, man. Like I watched this stuff, I played with this stuff. I mean,
come on, Iceman. Like I did mine, and like I'm okay with how mine turned out.
He was the hardest to figure out.
Oh, it's so good though, so good.
I appreciate, thank you, man. But I'm like, where am I gonna put these highlights? Like, how is he gonna be Iceman?
Yeah, that Iceman is my #1 X-Men character. So,
the Mandalorian stuff dropping soon too. I mean, this is all stuff that I just.
I actually missed a few of these. This is the problem with Instagram.
Yeah. So the Pinky and the Brain stuff, I had no idea that the Animaniacs were coming back.
Yeah, I just found
my boy's like, yo, you know they're coming back, or I'm like, for real? I'm like, oh, even perfect, more reason to do these then. Yeah, Captain Planet. You remember Bucky O'Hare? I don't know, maybe you're too young for that.
I remember him, but I don't think I really watched anything.
Yeah, Bucky O'Hare was big when I was growing up.
Earthworm, that's what's up though.
Earthworm,
Freakazoid, love it.
Yep, everybody remembers those.
And the putting Gaia right there on Captain.
Oh, everybody. That's another question. Everybody's like, how do you figure out what to put on the chain?
Yeah, that's perfect.
And it's just a matter of what works. Okay. So you see the Akira ones.
Yeah,
people were so upset and confused of why I made Tetsuo have a Kaneda chain and Kaneda have a Tetsuo chain.
They were upset about it.
Yeah, they were just not upset, but they're like, "Yo, they should be this. They should have." They're like, "No, this is Tetsuo. That's Kaneda."
But you were doing it as a like. I'm trying to think of the best word. I get it.
Okay, the reason I did it is because I don't know if I had this conversation with you already, but the last 20 minutes of Akira is literally them yelling their names at each other.
Okay, yeah.
Tetsuo, Kaneda, they're looking for each other.
Yeah.
I just thought that was funny, and mind you, they're best friends at the same time, so it just made sense. But a lot of people was like, "No, that's Kaneda. No, that's Tetsuo." I was trying to explain, like, "No, man, I did it for a reason."
Okay, before we end this, I'm just gonna say this right now.
No, I already know what you're gonna say. No,
6 inches. Come on, stained glass in the red.
I know. Trust me, I know. I'm just looking at that because if I do that, then that's obviously the blue team. So I gotta do the same thing for the gold team.
This is epic, though. If this happened,
I know. Everybody says this would be an amazing, or a patch. I don't know if you got into patches.
Man, I tried them, and I have people ask for them, but it's like I'm afraid to make any more because I'm sitting on so many patches.
It's not even about sitting on patches. It's just like I don't know if I want to carry patches.
Well, they don't even look as good. Like a pen just looks good.
Right, that's another thing. And the only way in a patch will look good if you make it bigger.
Yeah.
A small patch is not going to look good at 3 inches.
No, I agree.
You try to replicate our 2-inch, 3-inch pins into a patch that's 2-3 inches. It's not going to work.
Yeah, for sure.
They have to be blown up at least 3-4 inches in order for it to look good to get the details in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've been on the fence about getting patches and stuff.
Well, man, I really appreciate you being on. Like I said earlier, we're gonna have to do this again.
Oh no, absolutely, man. This was a test, but it ended up being the actual thing. It's cool, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it worked out good.
It worked out good. It worked out good.
Well, I guess we'll talk soon. And again, thank you. Thank you so
Josh,
much.
man, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it. And again, your fans, if they ever first time, seeing InkOne, I hope you look at my stuff. You visit my page, man. And
oh yeah, if you guys aren't following him, you should be. Go for it.
Absolutely.
Like now, go click on something. All right, man.
Hey, man, you have a good rest of the day. Go take care of your kid. That kid's awesome. Every time he posts about him, he's always just this giggling ass kid, man. I just laugh every time I see that.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
You have a good one, man.
You too.
All right, man.